Topic for discussion for today is journal names, a recording of transaction that involves a debit and credit, and I mean that involves at least two accounts with a debit and credit value is called a journal entry, right? So for recording journal entries in Dynamics, we have unique journals. Suppose for recording expense entries, we can create a journal called as expense journal. For recording unique entries for revenues, we can create a journal called as revenue journal. For normal general journal transactions, you can create, or for petty transactions or miscellaneous transactions, you can create a journal called as general journal. Okay. It's all up to the client what kind of journals they want and what names they want to give and how the number sequences should be formatted in the uh, journal name. That all depends on the client. First, let us see how we can configure it, and then we can come back to the client perspective or the client overview of the topic. So as I told you, journals are normally used for recording unique transactions. So for every nature of a transaction, we can create separate journals. Most of them like to create more journals and few of them like to create few journals. So in order to create a journal name, you have to go here in MRF. I'm in my legal entity MRF. So I going to general ledger. And last but one menu in general ledger, we have something called as journal setup. So general ledger, journal setup. And here we have this one concept called as journal names. So three-step navigation, general ledger, journal setup, and journal names. We can create any journal or we can create any transaction or post any transaction only when we have a journal created. Without having at least one journal, we can't create any transactions. Okay, it isn't necessary. So all the steps that we have discussed until here, the 10 steps are necessary in order to record at least one transaction in business. So the last step is this creation of journal names, right? So we'll see it. So write down the navigation, general ledger, journal setup, and journal names. So if I click on journal names, so I see it is an empty page. We don't have any journal names created yet. I'll create one journal name. Okay, I'll go for new here. I can give a name for the journal. I'll just give a short name here. Well, journal. So I'll write the same here. General journal. Okay. So I just gave a name for this, and short name here because it does not accept more characters here in the name part. But in description, you can give a detailed description. It accepts way more characters than compared to the name. The most important thing in the journal name is this journal type. Okay, this journal type indicates the purpose of this journal. So why have you created this journal? For which module, for which area, for which purpose you have created this journal will be selected here. So I have lot of options starting from A to V. V is the last one. So I have lot of names. So daily is by default. So whenever I create journal name, by default it will come journal type will be shown up as daily. You can change it if you want. So daily is for recording day-to-day transactions or daily transactions like revenues, expenses, and miscellaneous transactions in business. So for that purpose, we use daily journal, and mostly daily journals are used in journal and cash and bank management. So other than this, we have various journals. Suppose for making customer payment, so we have a menu called as customer payment menu. There we can have to create another customer payment journal. So for that purpose, if we need a journal, we will select the journal type as customer payment. Okay. For vendor payments, again we have something we call vendor disbursement. So We'll select vendor disbursements for making vendor payment journal. So we can create one more journal called as vendor payment journal, and we'll select the journal type as vendor disbursement. For customer payment, same way we'll create a new journal as customer payments, and we'll select the journal type as customer payment, the one I showed you previously. And the same way for different actions, for different menus, we have these journals. Suppose if I create customer payment journal, and that customer payment journal only will be visible in the menu of customer payments only. You can't that journal will not be visible in journals or any other modules like accounts payable or cash and bank. It won't be visible. It is only visible in accounts receivable, and that too in customer payment journals only. You can use that journal. The same way, if at all I create a journal called as vendor payment journal and give the journal type as vendor disbursement. So it can be used only in vendor payments. I can see the journal only there. I can't use the journal anywhere else. We have created that with the journal type vendor disbursement, which means it is unique only for vendor payments. So in which particular menu this journal should display will be decided by the journal type that you select here. So be very cautious about what you select here. So mostly you will have idea because what kind of journals you have to create we will be given by the client so that you can create journals accordingly. Firstly, you should have basic idea about how the journals work or how the journal mechanism work. So we will see that part. So for now, for this, I'm selecting daily only. Here I see daily. So it will be arranged in alphabetical order. Okay, I selected daily for the journal type. And you see there are no compulsory fields. There are a lot of menus, but I see all of them are normal dark only. But there is one box which is in red color, which indicates that it is a compulsory field to be filled in. So we have to create a unique voucher series for this particular journal. So whenever we use this journal, any transaction that we create will take a voucher number directly from here in this from this place. That I mean from this number sequence that we create this here we create an individual number sequence and we will assign here for this journal so that whenever we use this journal and create any transactions, a unique voucher code will be or voucher number will be assigned to a transaction. So without giving this, you can't save this further. It asks you to have a number sequence. So it says voucher series must be filled in. So you have to fill the voucher series definitely. So if it is clear until here, we can go for creation of voucher series. This covers up the topic of how to create a unique number sequence or what are the different menu items we have in a number sequence that we will see now. So is it clear until this part how to create a journal and give the journal type? And I'll show you how the number sequences will work here. I'll open another legal entity for you and show you. I'll open you this USMF legal entity. Just before I create it, I'll show you how it works. Okay. So I'm going for USMF. Sorry, I typed it wrong. So in this, I have general ledger. In general ledger, I go for general journals. So where we actually create and post the transactions. So I just want to show you how this mechanism works or how the number sequences that we give in unique number sequences here works for it. So in USMF, I already have few journals created. I mean, I'll create a new transaction, journal transaction. So here it asks me what journal you want to select. So here I see there are a lot of journals. So journal, intercompany journal, letter of credit, royalty accruals, expense journal, and everything I have here. So for all these journals, actually the journal type is daily only. So that's why I can see them in journal. If I give journal type daily, then only I can see the the journal name here in the journals page. Suppose I'll select this journal. You see here, right? In this I select and I go for lines. a bit slow. I see the voucher number here. You see, so it generates a unique voucher number, general GNGL 000854, which indicates that it's a general journal and it is having a unique number. So next time when I create another transaction, I mean, if at all I fill all the details here and create one more line here, I'll get next voucher number, which is 855, but the format will be same, GNGL 000855. I'll get next 856 like that. So it is specific to this particular general journal only. So whenever I use this journal and create transactions, I use this journal name and create transactions, then I'll get that specific unique format for my transactions. Okay, for that purpose, we have to design our number sequence or voucher series here. So whatever the format we design, we see them here in the transaction lines. So each transaction will be tracked with that kind of number. See, 855 is appearing actually. So that got disappeared somewhere. That's okay. So in the same way, I'll get 866, 867. The number of transactions I create, the new number it will generate automatically. So how many digits you want and what is the alpha format you want, so that you have to decide in the number sequence that we are going to create here, the voucher series. Okay, so now let us create one voucher series for our journal here. Clear, right? This one until here what I have explained. So let's create voucher series for this. In order to create voucher series for this, you can go to number sequences and create a number sequence. If not, you can directly click here and the arrow mark, right click on the arrow mark. If you right click on with your mouse on the arrow mark here, the bottom arrow mark, you will see this view details page. If you click on view details, it will take you to the page where you can create a number sequence. Okay, so we are seeing this for first time. Please try to understand this. This is very important. Okay, so I'll go for creation of new number sequence. So you see this new here. I'll click new. I have to give a number sequence code and description for the same. So what I'll give is I'll give the number sequence code like this, general journal, and I'll give the name as general journal. Okay, I'll just copy this. So we have few things here. One by one we can see all of them. So here in the identification you have to give this general journal and the name. Next is scope parameters we have. You can use this same number sequence for multiple legal entities if you want to. So then you can use this option called as shared. If you want your unique number sequence for your unique company, only for your MRF company and that too for your journals, you can select the scope as company. So you see the scope as company. Company and legal entity both are same. You can select any of them, but go for company because most of them prefer to go for company. It's okay. Select the scope here as company and select the company name here. So select the company name as MRF. So we have our company, right? So this one, I'll select the company name as MRF. So as I told you, if if at all it is shared means it can be used in all the legal entities. But if you go for company, it is only for company specific or specific only for MRF legal entity, and that too in the place where you give it. So now we will give this journal name only for, sorry, this number sequence voucher series name only for one journal. So in that journal only the transactions mean it will be used. So I'll just copy this part until here. So I gave it this for MRF specific. So when I come to segment here, I can see the few segments: company, constant, and alphanumeric. Okay, so my number sequence will be in this format by default here. MRF hyphen, how many digits I have? 9 digits. The same way here I have, right? GNGL 000855. So it is modified or constructed, so configured. I'll also modify this one. So if you want your company name for your voucher number, you can keep your company name. Then the voucher number will be MRF, GNGL, and so on so number. But they ignored the company name here, right? We didn't see the company name. We only see the journal unique journal code. The same way I'm ignoring this company. I don't want my company name in my voucher series. So what I'll do is I'll click here and I'll click on remove, so that I'll remove my company name. I will give a constant. Constant is nothing but the alphabet value we have to give. So I'll give the constant as general journal and I'll leave this hyphen. I want this hyphen as well. Okay, general journal hyphen. Here you have to decide how many digits you want. So if you want 9 digits, you can keep. So until uh, 99 crores, 99,000, 99 lakhs, 99,000, something, something, you can post your transactions. So it will support from 0000801 to all 99s. So those many transactions you can post using the same voucher series. If you feel that 9 is a very big number, and if you want to go for only 6 digits, you can go. So you can remove 3 hashes here. I have told you already, hash indicates number in Dynamics. So I removed this 3 hashes and now I have 6 digits here. So now I see the voucher format that I have configured. So whenever I create a transaction, now if I create a transaction, I see this as general journal 00001. Okay, in this format, I can see I can see my what I say, the voucher number whenever I create a transaction. So if you want any other format, you can change it. If here only you have to change it, the format. So generally they will go for one time and they don't modify it mostly. If they would fix for a format, they will go with that format only. Mostly they won't change it until and unless there is a requirement. They don't change the format because once you change the format again, the number sequences will be taken from the new format. So it will be confusing again. So that is why they don't prefer to change the format. So it's a highly one-time configuration, the number sequence formatting. This segment part will decide what kind of format you want for your voucher series. See here, for this voucher series in USMF, we have GNJL 000, I mean six digits, right? So in the same way I can keep it here, GNGL 6 digits. So if I keep it here, I'll see the same here. So I'll show you here. GNGL, GNJL, right? So GNJL 6 digits. So I see the format here. You can keep any format you want. So I was thinking to keep this format, journal hyphen and 6 digits. So that's why I gave this format. So your number sequence format will be designed here. Okay. You will
Yeah.
have 3 segments here: company, constant, and alphanumeric. Then I'll go for references. So it will generally ask me for this. Actually, I have to give these conditions. I'll come back to this references menu. Okay. So if you're clear until here, this segments part. So I'll go down here. I see here the smallest number is 1. Okay, correct. The largest number is, it is showing 9 digits again. But we have selected only 6 digits, right? So here also I'll remove 3 digits for the largest number. So I see 6 digits. So means 6 nines will be the largest number. So this will be the first voucher. This will be the final voucher. Okay. So here you can see the next, which means by using this number sequence, if a transaction is created, what will be the number it will take? It will take 1. It will generally take 000001. So, but it shows up as 1 here. And one more thing, here the total length you see 8 plus 6, right? So total it is 14. So it accepts only 21. More than 21, it won't accept more than 21. It can be total combining the constant as well as alphanumeric. It only accepts 21. So more than 21, it won't accept. So keep that in mind too. So here we only have 14, right? So system accepts. If you understood this part, number allocation, I'll explain in this setup part. Okay. Here you see this in use is grayed out, or I mean it's showing up as this. So I'll just click on save here. So it will get saved. I'll see save. This in use is not showing up yet because we did not use this number sequence sets. If we assign this to a journal and if we create a transaction, it will automatically turn to in use. I mean this in use will be set to yes automatically. Okay. In case if you want to stop this number sequence at some point, maybe if you use this number sequence for a journal or maybe you use it for any other purpose. So creation of number sequences, this is the only process. Maybe you use this number sequence for the purpose of journal or for any other situation. you will have the same process and same kind of number sequences. So in order, if you want to stop any number sequence, so you can click on stop here, so that whenever a user create any transaction which has to use this number sequence, it won't generate a voucher, or it says that that number sequence is stopped. Please select another number sequence for the same and come back. So it will say that kind of error message or a warning message. So I'm not stopping this, I'm using this. Then I have this option called as manual and continuous. So I can give my number sequences manually when I create journals. So since I know the format already, I can give my number sequences manually. I mean the voucher number manually. Here, when I generated a voucher number in this journal, so we have seen it that it automatically got generated rather than giving it manually, right? So this number automatically generated. We don't give it manually. So in the same way, you can either give it manually, or you can you can leave it rather than giving it manually. Okay. Here I have this option called as continuous. So if I select continuous, what happens is system will take the continuous number. So here it takes one. So one after one, it will take two. After two, it will take three. It will take four, like that. It will take the continuous numbers. If you don't enable also, it will mostly take continuous numbers only. But sometimes system may miss because of any technical glitch. If any of the number is not used, that number is not again used. Suppose I have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. I used one, but while I used two, I have a system shutdown or some technical glitch happened. So then one of the user used another journal like 3 and 4. So that two will not be coming back once again in the with if you don't use continuous numbers. In case if you use continuous, that two will also come. If you use 3 and 4 also, later again after there is a process called a cleanup. So again two will appear and two can be used again. Reuse, we can reuse the same number that we have lost in between. So for that purpose, we mostly use continuous. So for some countries in Europe, they should definitely have continuous number sequences only. They cannot miss a voucher number. Suppose like Italy, they will definitely use continuous number sequence only for all the purposes and for all the journals. So here I have another one with allow user changes. Actually, this allow user changes is something like, here I can change the number. The next number I can change it. So I can change the next number to 12 if I want to. Directly I can change it to 12, such that whenever I create a voucher next, it will automatically show up as voucher number 12. I'll miss all the remaining 1 to 11, all the remaining vouchers. So I can change it. So that will be here. So I can only change it to a higher number. If I enable this, it says that I can only change it to a higher number, which means if it is 1, right, then I can only keep the next number as 2 or 4 or 14 or 20, anything more than it. If I say lower number, earlier we have seen 856, right? So I can use 850 to 853 if at all they are not used. Okay, if one voucher is used, we can't reuse the voucher. Same number. For that also we have options either to use or not to use. So that's system wide. I'll show you that. I mean that's legal entity wide. I'll show you that option. But here if I say to a lower number also means I can give the next number as the lower number also. Suppose if I have 856 as the next number, I can give 854, 852 lower number also. I can make change. So I'll also disable this. I don't want to change my numbers. So this is with the setup. So whenever you create a number sequence, remember all these things, fill these details, the company and this format, go for the unique format, and then come down, give the same number that you have given here. If you give 6, you give only 6 as the largest number and keep it as continuous and save it. Okay. So there is a process called as automatic cleanup here. So it runs for every 24 hours. So what happens here is if we miss using some number sequences, suppose as I told you previously, if I use one, but I'll create 2 and 3 and I'll delete them later, but I have already posted 4 and 5 also because 2 and 3 are already created, then 4 and 5 only will generate, right? So 4 and 5 I have posted. Later I have deleted 2 and 3. So what happens is after 24 hours, system will clean up them and they again bring them into the process. So its system will automatically clean them up and will bring them into the process. Like again, you can use 2 and 3. Next time when user creates after cleanup, so 2 and 3 will be used. So it is available only when you select the continuous checkbox. If you don't check the continuous, so actually this, you see this menu is gone. Actually the cleanup menu is not visible here. Again, if I select yes, then only automatic cleanup menu will appear here. So as I told you previously, so continuous is given only for that sake. If you don't give continuous, what happens is the missed numbers will be missed and you can't reuse them once again. Okay, but if you use continuous, automatic cleanup batch job will run, and for every 24 hours it will clean the vouchers that are not used, and next day you can again use them, such that you won't miss any voucher numbers. But I mean, you can see these transactions in the voucher number format also. You just copy this unique format up to GNGL and go for tracking voucher transactions, and you can see all the list of transactions posted with the same voucher format. Option status list. So this is actually for blocked journals. Just go back. So this is with automatic cleanup. So as I told you, only when it is continuous, then only I can see automatic cleanup here. You can also manually clean up. The same way automatic cleanup works, manual cleanup also works. You have this option here, manual cleanup for current or for all number sequences. You can go for current, means only for this number sequence you can manually clean up. Then I have something called pre-allocation. Pre-allocation is not available when you have it as continuous. So if it is not continuous, this pre-allocation option is available. Actually, you can read the thing here in the pre-allocation. Pre-allocation is very rarely used. Actually, what happens in pre-allocation is system will automatically save few number sequences in its memory so that they can be used further. While it comes to continuous, what happens is a number will be picked as and when you create a transaction. But in case of pre-allocation, what happens is system will automatically have certain quantity of numbers in its memory. It will automatically generate and keep it in its memory such that whenever you create transaction, it will immediately pick that number. So the assumption is that using continuous numbers is some slows down the process. But whereas it comes to pre-allocation, since the numbers are already in place or already in the system memory, so the process will be easy, what they assume like. So pre-allocation, very few of them, that too in Asian locality, use pre-allocation numbers. Okay, they will give pre-allocation numbers here such that the next number will be picked from here. Suppose that I want to create some transactions. I want to create transactions from 10 to 20, voucher number 10 to 20. I only want that unique voucher numbers for that particular transactions. So then I can give quantity of numbers as 10 here. I mean, I'll go for non-continuous. Pre-allocation is enabled. I'll give 10. I'll give the next number such that, I mean, the next number will start from 10 and I can create transactions from 10 to 20 automatically. So I can give my lots here, lots of 10 if I want. So this is not basically used for this kind of journal transactions. Mostly pre-allocation is used for in case of any invoice transactions or anything like that. So that specific invoice number can be allotted to a specific vendor as being specific customer whenever you are doing any transactions with customers. But there are chances if you use pre-allocation, there are chances that you might miss some numbers also. So that will be headache again. So they have to be very careful when they use this pre-allocation. Most of them will use continuous. Very few of them will use pre-allocation. If you use pre-allocation, sometimes you will definitely miss the numbers in between. So one number will be picked as one. If I give 5, right? So next time when I create a transaction tomorrow, it will take number 6 automatically, and the in between 4 will disappear or will not appear again. So there is a risk as such. So that's why we use continuous only for R as well. Mostly client requirement will also be continuous only. So pre-allocation, as I told you, is only in few of the Asian entities. That too, the Chinese or Japanese will use this pre-allocation part, Vietnam and these countries. I have seen one of the US customer using this pre-allocation part, and that too for a unique purpose. Other than that, nobody. I have seen no one using this pre-allocation number sequences. Okay, remember that point. The key things to remember is these steps: identification, scope, parameters, and segment. Then giving it as continuous and number. So I'll save this one. Now this number sequence is created. Number sequence or voucher series, whatever we call, is created. Now I can give the same for my journal that I have created. So I'll go back from here to this journal page where we were previously creating the journal. So I can give that voucher series here. So in order to give it, you can drop down and search for it. These are all the automatic number sequences that were created in our first class, second class, when we generated the number sequences. So I give the voucher series here as I'll search for it. So what we have created, general journal, right? So I see only one with that name, general journal. I'll give it here. Okay, so we'll discuss this menu part later once after we create some transactions. Okay, so this is how we create a journal. Now I'll create one more journal for you to make it easy for you to understand. So I'll give this journal name as revenue journal. Okay, revenue journal. I give the name. I use the journal type as daily only. Okay, then I'll go for voucher series creation. So to create this, how I can go to the page of number sequences, your mouse and then you will see this details and you can click on view details here. So it will directly take you to the number sequences page. Not only here, but anywhere in Dynamics. If you right click and go, it will take you to the menu where such kind of items will be created for that particular field. Okay. So here I'll create a new number sequence for my revenue journal. So I'll give this as revenue journal. You don't have to give the same name here, the journal name. You can create any name, but I'm generally giving the same name. Okay. Revenue journal. Okay. So here, can someone guide me what I have to select here? Okay. Scope as company and here.
Company name, legal entity name.
Okay. Company or legal entity, both are same here. Okay. Company name. Okay. Then coming to segments. Anyone else?
We can remove company.
Okay, if you want, you can keep company. If not, you can remove the company. If I keep company and if I keep the constant also like this, see the voucher series will be like this, MRF, revenue journal, and so on. So can you see the format here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it will be like this. So if you can also keep hyphen again for company. So then it will be like company hyphen revenue journal hyphen numbers, right? If I give something like this, so it is, see, it is more than 21, right? So here you can see number sequence format string contains the limit. I mean, I'm sorry, it is 20 only, not 21. So it is saying that it exceeds the limit of 20 characters. The number sequence format has been truncated. You must modify the segments before saving the number sequence. So it will not allow you more than 20 characters. Okay, it's not 21, it's only 20. I forgot. I mean, I thought that maximum limit is 21. It's 20 only. So it is saying that it is like crossing more than 20. I see 24 here. 11 plus 9 plus 4 is 24, right? So I'll remove few of them. I'll remove this MRF. I mean, I'll remove the company one here segment. Then I have constant. So for constant also, I don't want all journal. I'll just keep it as revenue journal, and then I'll go for 6 digits. 6. So now my format will be this way: revenue journal hyphen 6 stars, 6 numbers. Okay, coming to here, continuous. So I can select continuous and I can select 6 numbers here. You can, I'll remove it and I selected 6. Now I can save it. So it is saved on the name of revenue zone. Okay, so I forgot to explain this part, references. Actually, references here shows the area in where this number sequence is used. We did not use it at right, so we don't see it here. Normally If at all we use this number sequence for a journal, for an invoice, for in any other process, in any other module, we see that details here, the reference details, where in which area it is being used. Okay, we'll see that part later. So I'll just copy this name here until here. So I'll save this. I have already saved it. I'll go back. I'll paste the same name here so that I no need to search for it. So I'll paste the same name here. It will automatically take because we only have one one number sequence only or one voucher series only with that unique name. So it took automatically. So see here, if I drop down, I can see the revenue. Clear until here? Creation of journal as well as the number sequence for the journal. Now let us see how voucher numbers will be generated when we use this. Okay, if you are clear until here, I'll show you how we can use this and how the voucher number will be generated from the unique format that we have created. So I saved it. I'll close this form of USMF. I'll duplicate this page and I'll try to create a journal in our legal entity only. So we have got all the requirements until so that we can create a journal now in our legal entity, in our demo legal entity. So for creating a journal, I'll go to journal ledger, journal entries and journals here. Journal ledger first menu, journal entries, and very first menu option I have is general journals. I'll go for general journals. So here I don't have anything yet. I did not post anything. So in not posted or in all also I don't see anything. Now I go for new here. So it took a unique journal batch number. First thing is this journal batch number. So this journal batch number is different from voucher number. Journal batch number will be organization specific. I mean, sorry, company specific. So if I create a next transaction in my fixed asset module, it will take the journal batch number as 002. If I create a next transaction accounts payable module, it will take journal 003. So this is for whole company. Wherever you create any transaction, it will take the next number for journal batch number. But whereas it comes to journals in the vouchers that we have, that is specific to the journal name that we use here. Okay, know the difference, understand the difference. So now we here I'll select the journal name. So we have created two journals, right? Both of them I gave daily only. So we can select any one of them. I'll go for general journal first. Okay. So I have selected a journal. So in order to create the transaction lines or the entry, I can go for lines option here in the top. Click on lines. So I can see today's date. So I'll explain you all these details once again in tomorrow's class, but generally I look at this one. So you can see general journal 0001, all voucher number is automatically created. So we have created a format for the voucher series, right, for the journal. So since I have selected that journal, the voucher number is automatically generated and so there we have seen next number as one, right? So that one is here. So it took the 6 digits. It will take the 6 digits actually. So for having these kind of voucher numbers, unique voucher numbers only, we will design a unique number sequence for each journal. We only saw 3 steps: create a journal, select the journal type and number sequence. So there is more to learn in this part. Okay. So now if I go for any account, I'll use some rent account. Okay. I'll use a rent account. I want to pay rent expense. So which a location, you can select location. We have 4 locations right in our financial dimensions.
Mumbai. Yep.
Okay, if you want to pay rent for Mumbai location, you can select. So department, through which department you are paying, you can go for finance department. And cost center, if you at all required, you can select. If not, you can leave it. Okay. So this is how we generally enter the code, main account and financial dimensions combination. See here, right? So whenever I see this transaction, once after getting
Mm-hmm.
posted, I can see that rent is paid for Mumbai location and paid through finance department. Easy to track. So I can give some So rent expenses is always debit. Expenses are always debit in nature. So I'll debit this account with $1,000. Next, I can give a description if I want to here, like uh, rent payment for August Mumbai. So like this I can give if I want to. So it will show up here like this. Debit amount. Then no need to give credit if once you give debit, or if you give credit you don't need to give debit. So it will by default select the credit amount for the another account that you select here. So I said we need to at least two main accounts, right? So I can select the other account here. I'm paying rent through my cash account. Suppose I'll select my cash account here. So this dimensions that I took there will automatically be follow up this account here. 103 for Mumbai and finance will automatically come here. If you want to change, you can change, but I don't want to change. I want to use the same. So this is how we create a transaction. I'll save this. So this is a complete voucher now, and I'll save it. Now, if I create a new voucher here, suppose system will automatically take the next number 002. Okay, if I create one more, it will take 003. I mean, I have to fill all the details here. I have to make this voucher complete so that it will take the next voucher number again as 003, 004 like that. I can create many transactions within one journal if I want, or I can create a single transaction also. Or also I can create a compound entry. We'll see all these things tomorrow.